What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to CM Aviation. Hope you're having a fantastic day today, and today I have a very exciting model unboxing for you all. Hope all of you are excited for this. Want to give a huge shout out to Flyman Models here for this aircraft. If you've seen Flyman Models at the collectible shows and so forth, really cool store. It's got a bunch of really cool items, and I found a couple of gems that I am really excited to add to my fleet. So just a little spoiler alert, we do have 1-200s today. This collection continues to grow substantially in my fleet, and I appreciate him packing up this box really nicely because one of them particularly is pretty rare, and I actually flew it, so I really wanted it. The other one just worked out into the deal because there's actually a oversell on the aircraft, so I actually ended up getting another 1-200 instead of a 1-400 aircraft that I was intending to get. So yeah, this will be a really cool unboxing today, a very special one. He's even got the corners taped up, so these aren't going anywhere, that's for sure. So gotta love that. But anyway, definitely check out his website. Really good retailer, and definitely appreciate the efforts over there from him, and glad to continue establishing the scope with what's going on over his way. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these two 1-200s, and I also appreciate him putting in these really cool pieces, cardboard pieces. I've never seen those before, so those definitely are really helpful in the way of not damaging our airplanes. So yeah, very nice. All right, here we go for the two 1-200 aircraft. I know you can't see them very well, but I'll be sure to get them out and you'll be able to see them a little bit more in depth here in a moment. So we have the Delta Airlines Delta Connection Bombardier CRJ-900 by Endeavor. I think this is the Endeavor one, at least it might be the newest one actually. But very excited to have this. I love to build up my fleets, and at some point I want to do a 1-200 airport. So this worked out perfectly when the 1-400 release I didn't want wasn't there. So I asked if this aircraft was up for grabs, and he said it was. So I was able to get the Delta CRJ full in its plastic there. So again, very excited to have this aircraft, and I think it'll be a really cool addition to the collection. So there's the Delta Bombardier CRJ-900. Very cool. This is the latest release, actually, that 2023, and ironically enough, I actually got the 1-400 from it too, so that's definitely a full circle. So very excited to have that. We'll start with that one here in a moment, but I also want to go ahead and get out the Gemini200 1-200 scale. This is actually a fairly recent release. This came out in 2021, but due to the popularity of Frontier aircraft, this one got very rare very quickly. The Frontier Airbus A320neo, and that is Flower the Hummingbird. So very excited to add Flower to the collection. If you don't know, I flew Flower the Hummingbird last August from Denver to Oklahoma City. Very fun flight, really enjoyed it. And ever since, I've been trying to get the 1-200, and when the opportunity was there for a very reasonable price, I couldn't pass it up. So here are our two 1-200s for today. This is kind of a cool shot with the grass in the background and so forth, and the wind's trying to blow off my Delta box on the other side. But anyway, this is really cool and definitely a good looking scope right here. So we're gonna start on the Delta CRJ, and we'll continue throughout. And if you can hear a little bit of background audio, I apologize. My dad's having a field day here outside working today, so I appreciate his work to keep this yard up, because this yard is certainly a job I did for a long time before I moved out. So anyway, let's get started with the Delta CRJ-900. So this came out last year in 2023, or actually, I'm sorry, 2 years ago now, yikes. So yeah, this came out in 2023, and certainly is a very cool aircraft. So here's the box for you. You got the silver 25th anniversary livery. You got the Delta titles right here. Here's the CRJ-900 itself. This is G2DAL1278, and then we'll take a look at the side profiles. So yeah, this is a nice aircraft. I really like the silver that they had on here for 2023. I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, overall, great aircraft. Really excited to have it, and certainly is a very cool one. So never gonna take this opportunity for granted to get a popular regional jet, and we know how special the 1-400 one is. So really great to get the 1-200 now as well. And yeah, really cool nose piece, and there it is, everyone. Very good looking aircraft. Overall, just a phenomenal effort in the way of detail and so forth. Gemini200 is one of the best brands out there with in-flight and NG and all the others. So never going to be upset to get one of their 1-200 offerings. So yeah, this will be pretty similar to the American, although I think this one's probably just slightly more appealing to the eye, just because the gray color is not so subjective slash controversial slash any other word that you want to put in there. So let's see if I can get this in the frame here. And there it is, everybody, the Delta CRJ-900. So very happy to have it. I would say the only major what the heck on this aircraft, if you really want to give one, is the antennas are very large, and quite frankly, they shouldn't be. In fact, they probably need to be closer to what the 1-400 antennas look like on this aircraft, but hey, that's a part of it. So I'm gonna hope this dog also doesn't interfere on our parade. The dog's nice, but we'll see if it's trying to, what it's gonna do over here. I think it's just coming to hang out. So with that said, we're not gonna waste any further time on this and just go ahead and get started with this aircraft. Okay, let's zoom in and I don't know what that dog's doing. I don't know if it's got a squirrel over there or what it's messing with, but there's some sort of bees. All right, here we go. It might just be trying to mess with me in the video here. All right, so you got the cockpit windows right here, along with the hatch on top, which is a nice detail. You got the nose cone right here as well with the windshield wipers. A couple of panel details and so forth, pitot tubes, all that. Bombardier CRJ-900 titles right here. And here's the actual nose landing gear and nose landing gear door, which look really nice. They did a good job in the detail right there. Here's the SkyTeam logo as well. And then you got the L1 door, which obviously is very impressive in terms of its size, so we'd love to see that. And you get the antennas 1, 2, 3. Again, they're not bad, it's just an observation, and everybody's a little bit different about it. And here's the Delta connection titles here, and then you got some first class seats, I think like 8 maybe, I think it's 8. And you got the 3D beacon here as well, which is quite nice. I'm also going to do a full review on this aircraft, so if I'm going a little fast, don't worry, the full review will cover it a little more in detail. SkyWest titles here, and you got the rest of the passenger windows. You got Comfort Plus, which I've sat in. It's a nice product on these aircraft, and then obviously that takes you straight into the rest of the economy seats, which there's probably about 45 of those. You got the baggage doors here as well. You got 2 in the front, which is pretty impressive, and then you're going to have 1 under that engine right there, which is also pretty good, which is back there now. And you can see the emergency exits right here that look pretty nice. And you also have the wing root right there, which is pretty good. Possibly just a touch of a paint smidge there, but not a huge deal to me, fortunately. And you can see the slat detail there, which is quite nice. And the overwing exits, the flaps, and speed brakes. So very good detail on that. Main landing gear look really nice on this aircraft, along with the winglet angle and design. Overall, really good. It looks a little weird from here, but once you raise it up, it's like, yeah, you got it. So looks very nice. Obviously, not too much in the way of the livery on this aircraft. Registration's November 800 Sierra Kilo, and then you have the engines as well that look really nice, and the cowlings. Overall, good detail, and I think they did a very good job on that. You also have the Delta widget right there, and the horizontal stabilizers on the T-tail. APU, just great detail. A couple of panels throughout here, and it certainly adds some really good character to it. And on the right side of this aircraft, you're also going to find the exit there, which is quite nice, so that certainly looks really good. And as you push it back, you'll see the other additional details here as well, along with the actual aircraft itself with the tail right there. So all that came together very nicely, and overall it looks really nice. Top of the aircraft turned out really well. As you can tell, good detail, really good job on the wings, very, very attentive, very good job on the precision. Looks very nice. Bottom of the aircraft, no Delta belly, unfortunately, obviously, with it being a regional, but all good. You got the stand hole there, which the indentation looks pretty fascinating, so I'll be eager to see what that looks like. And the main landing gear and all those pieces. So overall, very good aircraft. In the main review, we'll definitely dive into it a little bit more, but that's a very good aircraft and definitely cool to get all these Delta aircraft for their 100th anniversary. So certainly a very fitting time to do all that. Now, obviously, this aircraft is very special as well. The Frontier Airbus A320neo Flower to Hummingbird. Again, flew this aircraft, so very fortunate and very stoked to have it. I think it's a really nice looking aircraft. So you got Gemini200 right here. You got the Frontier billboard titles, Flower to Hummingbird. One of the few releases that did not come down to 1-400, which was surprising. A320neo is G2 FFT 897. So I'm not exactly sure what the reason for that was. But yeah, $89 I thought was a grand slam. I've seen this go on eBay for upwards of $200 pretty easily, pretty consistently. And yeah, 2020, maybe it was 2020. I thought it was 2021. The box had been from 2020, so quite a few ways of what would have happened there. So with that said, let's just go ahead and get it out. We do have the button on this one, obviously, and we have the tripod stand as well. So let's just go ahead and get it open, everybody. Flower the Hummingbird, looking very nice, hollow aircraft, and certainly very glad to have it. So there it is, Flower the Hummingbird. Good looking aircraft. The landing gear is a little bent, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. That happens from time to time on these Airbus airplanes. The landing gear just bends a little bit, and fortunately, they're usually pretty easy to get back in place. So was able to get that fixed up very quickly. Go ahead and put that in the box, and let's go ahead and take a look, because we're here for that, not to chit chat and whatever else. So let's go ahead and get this in position. Yeah, this is really cool. So this is my first die-cast 1-200 Frontier. I have Wilbur the Whitetail as a Skymark, so very excited to have my first die-cast 1-200 Frontier. So at Spirit last year, got Frontier. You're not gonna need a proper Allegiant. I have Skymark Flight, which that's not a very good aircraft at all. So yeah, definitely very happy with the progression here. But yeah, that's a very good looking aircraft. Very excited to have it. And I sat in like, I think it was man, was it 27F or A maybe? I think it was somewhere back there, but anyway, very cool to have it. And let's just go ahead and get into the actual components of the aircraft here, because that's what we're here for, right? Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So here's the cockpit windows along with the nose cone. Pretty proportional here. It looks better than the 1-400 by a mile, so love that. Panel detail, flower to hummingbird, very clear, very obvious titles. We love that. Antenna up here. Here's the L1 door with the lever, and it's 318 Foxtrot Romeo, so there's 318. Here's the nose landing gear. Again, it was bent pretty substantially, but fortunately I was able to recover that pretty quickly, so it wasn't too hard of a fix there. And then, of course, you have a couple big front seats up here, so that's quite nice. I'm sorry, excuse me, the extra legroom seats, but they're going to have a first class soon, so I'll be eager to see the promotion and what that's going to look like. But then you get the Frontier F up there, obviously, which is pretty neat. And then you have the rest of the billboard titles right here, which are quite nice. And then a couple of extra legroom seats in all economy from like 5 back. I believe 5's where it starts. It might be 9. There's extra stretch seats, actually, now that I think about it. So might be like 8 or 9 where it kicks off. But you got the light blue there as well. And you have the wing root here, which is quite nice too. And you have the flap slat and speed brake detail, which is pretty solid. It's definitely good on the 1-200 mold here, satisfactory at the very least. So overall, I'm definitely happy with it. I'll take it. And you got the CFM engines, the Neo engines, excuse me, which are very good here. I think they're very proportional, good ground clearance, and overall they look quite nice, and just give me a couple of different vantage points on that. Overall, very good detail. That looks really nice. We have a Cessna way high in the sky there, if you can hear that. There's the little bit of a gap there, but not a huge deal. Got the overwing exits there. You can really see the right one. The other one's blocked by billboard titles, but there's the slope there. And of course, you got the Sharklet, which you have flower on the inside, which looks very nice. So great to see the hummingbird going strong, and overall very happy to see that right there. Frontier certainly has a very unique game with their aircraft. It's definitely cool that they put all these cool tails on them. But you can see the blue stripe back there, the flyfrontier.com, and you got Frontier in green, which is nice. America's greenest airline. You got the 3 antennas there, 1, 2, 3 from bottom left to top right, and then registration again, November 318 Foxtrot Romeo, and then the tail design, which makes it pretty tough for most manufacturers to get these aircraft out pretty consistently. This one's a little simpler than Chinook the Wolf, for example, so very good job on it. Overall, it looks quite nice. I think the titles are very adequate, and you also have the great detail there on the actual beak and so forth. So, and I think is that a branch that's sitting on? I'm not sure if that's a branch or what that is, but yeah, overall it looks pretty nice. And I think they did a very good job on the details and all of what you would expect. APU looks great, horizontal stabilizers, very good job. And like I said, for the Delta, same story applies here. We'll get into a little bit more of a detailed look on the unboxing. Right side, you have the 3 cargo doors right there. They look very nice, and then obviously kind of the luggage one designated there in the back. So overall, that looks very nice. Top of the aircraft, good detail on the wings right there. Very strong, looking very sharp. Bottom, got the Gemini200 logo, got some air inlets there, stand hole, panel detail, you name it, it's all there, and it all looks really nice. So I really hope all of you enjoyed this 2-model unboxing today. Definitely really great to have this. And again, thank you so much to the Flyman Models, and definitely check out his store, and I'll be sure to link it below. But overall, a really nice duo right here, and I definitely recommend these two if you're in the market for some sort of cool 1-200s, if you can find these. So, but Flyman Models I know has the Delta, so definitely go pick that up if you're interested in it. But with that said, I really hope all of you enjoyed it, and thank you all so much for watching today's video. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Just process. Do you love and love what you do? My name is CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon, as CM Aviation is signing off.